Why seize Tumbleton? He dares me to rain fire down on a seat that raised my banner.
You! Go in there!
Does he mean to somehow win their support?
We must guard our intent quietly. We must presume these men hold allegiance only to themselves.
You river folk? I fucking hate river folk.
Our soldiers need to be paid, else there will be bedlam.
Name a master of coin. The people will soon discover are lacking resources. They can blame him.
We seek the Prince Aemond.
If you know where he is, I'd advise you to be forthcoming.
Oh my.
My purpose is to restore the rightful line to the Iron Throne.
It is the will of the gods.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 4 trailer video. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs, references, WTF moments from the books, so we will break it all down. First things first, who's going to offer their head to Rhaenyra this week? Also, she still wants to know where you hid all the crown's gold. At the beginning of the trailer footage, we see Rhaenyra in another small council meeting, but notice there's only a couple people here. Mysaria is her Mistress of Whispers now, Orwyle is there as her Maester, and her new personal Queen's Guard, so it seems like Daemon selected a new Queen's Guard for her, because this is the one that's dedicated to just guarding her all the time. Later we hear Mysaria suggesting a new Master of Coin as the fall guy for all the money problems in King's Landing right now. Like, well, we have all these big issues with trying to find out what they did with the crown's gold. Why don't we just appoint a new Master of Coin and everybody can get mad at that guy? That is probably going to be Dan Fogler's new Torrin Manderly character who came from White Harbor, who does seem like he's going to be supportive of Rhaenyra, but he's clever enough that he's just going to be this agent of chaos while this is all going on. Like, he's really enjoying himself while this is all happening. Rhaenyra starts their meeting talking about Aemond Hightower and the Hightower army, the Greens, taking Tumbleton. Why have they taken Tumbleton? So if you didn't realize, it's a city nearby King's Landing that's just a market town that's ruled over by Lord Footly that I think we see at the end of the trailer. The reason why it's important is because it's so close to King's Landing and it's a fortified city, it is defensible, and Aemond wants to take all these people in the town hostage so that Rhaenyra can't burn all of his green troops. So he's saving his troops, proving that he's clever, because Rhaenyra can't really do anything about him yet.
He dares me to rain fire down on a seat that raised my banner.
You! Go in there!
Gonna take a couple dragons and an army to get rid of them in there. And one of Rhaenyra's biggest problems right now is that she lacks the bodies. All of her armies, you'll remember, Daemon just told to march to King's Landing, so they're still on the way, and it's going to take them a couple more episodes to actually reach Tumbleton. We get a couple shots on the interior of the city with the Hightower troops marching in and around the buildings. Look at how tightly packed it is. This is going to make it real hard for archers to get them, even for dragons to burn any of them without killing all the people in the city, which Rhaenyra doesn't want to do, because then everybody around the realm would start hating her because she was killing innocent people. We get a really quick shot of Hugh Hammer's wife with her brother. She said that she was going there. Hugh Hammer told Rhaenyra earlier when he was asking about getting paid and getting a house on Visenya. So, like, what's going to happen now to my wife? Well, I'll go get her eventually. And later in the trailer, we see Vermithor and Hugh Hammer flying over the city. But this is after they've learned what Aemond Hightower has done. So this is also a really big problem for Rhaenyra in the Blacks, because now Hugh Hammer has something hanging over his head if Rhaenyra threatens the city, or if Aemond Hightower finds out who she really is and how she's connected to Hugh Hammer and the dragons, then it's a big problem for Rhaenyra too, because later in the trailer, we see her and her brother talking to the Hightower troops. So now another big threat is Aemond Hightower being able to blackmail Hugh Hammer and get him to betray the Blacks at the threat of his wife's life. Like, we'll kill your wife, or your wife might die if you don't help us. We get a quick shot of Aemond Hightower inside what seems like Lord Footly's offices here. I assume he just takes over Lord Footly's chambers. Then we get a really cool scene of Aegon and Larys Strong reaching Rook's Rest. Notice in the distance you can see the carcass of Meleys sitting across the keep. He cautions Aegon because even though Criston Cole left a garrison here when he left, they don't know whose allegiance these men actually follow. Later in the trailer, one of them starts yelling at Aegon, thinking that they're river folk. Like, we hate river folk here. We'll kill you on the spot if you're river folk. Duly noted, tell them you are from somewhere else. We get a much better shot inside the actual keep. Notice it's still destroyed. Like, it hasn't been that much time, so obviously nobody's repaired the castle, and the dragon is so huge, it's going to take it forever for them to get rid of it or for it to decay. So you kind of wonder if these people are carving it up and eating the dragon. Like, does the dragon meat taste like anything that they can actually eat? Under normal circumstances, that would be blasphemy against the crown. The Targaryens would normally kill you on the spot if they caught you trying to do something like that. Dragons to them are sacred. They worship the dragons.
The dragon will never lose.
Everybody remembers Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It was the whole basis for the conflict during that series because Tanzel Too Tall made it seem like the dragon was going to die. We get a quick shot of the Gold Cloaks trying to keep the order around the city, but Daemon also telling Rhaenyra that we have to pay them or it is going to be all chaos. Everything will just turn into absolute chaos and it will suck for everybody at all levels of the social stratum. And they are no closer to getting any more money, but she was going to send Daemon to the Vale to try and get some money from Lady Arryn, so we'll see if that helps. Also going to be how they set up him learning about Rhaena and Sheepstealer because they are in the Vale. Like, wait a minute, there's this dragon Sheepstealer here. Who's flying on them? Oh, wait a minute, it's my daughter that I haven't thought about in a couple years. You have to remember that Daemon has not been in contact with either of his daughters, Baela or Rhaena, at this point, and they have no idea what's happened to his two children with Rhaenyra, Aegon and Viserys. They think that they're on a boat to the east right now. A whole lot of absentee parents all over Westeros. Then we finally get more scenes at Harrenhal with Criston Cole and Gwaine Hightower and their group looking for Aemond because this was the last place they knew he was headed with Vhagar. Like, where is Aemond? And obviously Alice Rivers is just going to have all kinds of fun with them here. Like, oh dear me, how am I going to deal with all these people? Probably in some really, really cool way. Honestly, in a situation like this, I'd be more worried about Criston Cole, Gwaine Hightower, and all these troops, not Alice Rivers. Like, do not worry about her. You also notice she has on a different outfit and she's wearing that pendant too. No idea what that pendant is, but you can let me know what your theories are. We have seen a couple other scenes of Aemond without his shirt on in the same room where Daemon was sleeping with the weirwood bed, or it looked like the same room, so that's probably where she has him stashed right now, recuperating from his wound. We get another shot of Ormond Hightower and Jon Roxton walking out of one of the main buildings here at Tumbleton, talking about his holy mission to restore the rightful line to the Iron Throne. Probably Daemon Targaryen, or Aemond, he probably doesn't care which, but Daemon is the one that he controls, so he probably wants a Targaryen on the throne who does whatever he says to do. It also kind of seemed like that's what Otto Hightower wanted too when he put Aegon on the throne, like, just do what I tell you to do.
After all I've done for you, thoughtless, feckless.
As I said earlier, this is Hugh Hammer's wife and her brother talking with some other highborn people here and Ormond Hightower walking out. This might be where Ormond Hightower figures out that she is Hugh Hammer's wife and he might be able to do something about that dragon, turn some of the dragons to the side of the Greens, and it might help them in this war against Rhaenyra. You have to remember, Rhaenyra's big advantage in the War of the Dance of the Dragons right now is that she overwhelmingly has way more dragons than the Greens, but that can change. Alliances change all the time in the world of Game of Thrones. I think they're just trying to set up the basis for why that winds up happening with some of the dragon seeds here. We get a really quick shot of Vermithor and Hugh Hammer flying over Tumbleton here. You see all the green troops below him just freaking out a little bit because he's the next biggest dragon after Vhagar. This is probably after they learn what's happened and Hugh Hammer starts freaking out about his wife. Maybe Rhaenyra sends him there too. It will be interesting to see how they portray this part of the storyline. When Ormond Hightower says it's the will of the gods, I think the person that he's talking to here is Lord Footley, who rules over Tumbleton, at least until Ormond Hightower takes it over. We get a really quick shot of Vhagar flying over Harrenhal, even though the way they cut it's kind of misleading. They make you think that it's Tumbleton, but Vhagar is still back near Aemond at Harrenhal. It's not totally clear what's happening here where Ormond Hightower sees this giant blaze light up in front of him. They're making it seem like a dragon might be breathing fire in front of him. There are a couple of dragons that we know about will head to Tumbleton. We just saw Vermithor and Hugh Hammer, but we also know they still have Daeron's dragon, Tessarion, in the city too, because the real Daeron is still at Tumbleton. It was the fake Daeron that they sent to the Red Keep. Speaking of which, there were also a lot of you that asked why Daemon didn't tell this fake version of Daeron, because he thought he was the real Daeron, to fly Tessarion to the Dragon Pit. Why is Daemon leaving Tessarion loose here with the Greens? There are a couple reasons that you could point to, mostly plot reasons, because obviously the fake version of Daeron wouldn't have been able to get Tessarion to do anything, and Tessarion probably would have eaten him had he tried to fly him without the real version of Daeron there with him. But I think the logic that the writers were operating from is that they were saying that Daemon thought that this was the real Daemon, and he wasn't asking Tessarion to do anything particular, and nobody else aside from the Dragon Keepers could do anything with Tessarion to begin with. So he just assumed that the Dragon Keepers would keep the dragon safe here, and the dragon probably wouldn't be doing much of anything, and then eventually at some point later they would come back and bring it to the dragon pit. Because you have to remember that Daemon's whole plan is that he assumed that Rhaenyra was going to kill Daemon. Like, that's what he wanted this whole time. Like, just going to be a matter of time. Rhaenyra's going to have his head because he has a claim on the Iron Throne. We have to get rid of that. One of the other big things they allude to in this trailer is that Aegon and Lair Strong, in arriving at Rook's Rest, will eventually find Sunfire, and I think they're implying that Sunfire is still alive, and it's going to give Aegon this renewed sense of purpose, like, oh, I actually have a chance to reclaim the Iron Throne. I can come back now. I can come back from this.
The only dragon she saw was Sunfire.
Aegon is already kind of being gassed up a little bit now that the Milk of the Poppy's effects are wearing off on him and has started to think more clear-headed, but also, with a dragon at your back, Targaryens often feel like gods, so Aegon probably feels way more wind beneath his wings, to make all of the metaphors, now that his dragon might still be alive. Now the real question is also going to be after this, if Sunfire is still alive, why did Baela think that he was dead? Probably didn't look close enough, and Sunfire also probably lying very, very still, playing dead. That would be funny if Sunfire was purposely trying to make people believe that he was dead. Like, no, go away, don't bother me, because I'm totally dead, even though I'm not. You also kind of wonder who's been feeding Sunfire, or just have small animals been wandering too close, and he's playing dead and then eating whatever animals come too close. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and let me know if you spotted any Easter eggs or references in the new trailer footage that I didn't talk about in the video. My full episode 4 video will post next week after they release it, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Everybody click here for that episode. I'll update the link as soon as I post it, and click here for all my other House of the Dragon episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.